Hello chess friends and welcome to Azarov Chess channel and welcome to a beautiful game from the quarterfinal stage of the chess.com Speed Chess Championship in 2024. We have here Alireza Firouzja against Fabiano Caruana in a beautiful Morphy Defense of the Ruy Lopez. And before we start to analyze the game, first of all we should mention that Alireza Firouzja actually won his quarterfinals against Fabi, and in the semifinals Alireza Firouzja will face Hikaru Nakamura. It will be, I think, an incredible match, a spectacular match for the neutral chess lovers especially. I think we'll see great tactical matches for sure. But in the other semifinals we have it even better. In the other semifinals Hans Niemann will play against Magnus Carlsen, so the world will be shaken in the semifinals of the Speed Chess Championship in 2024. The semifinals will happen in September of 2024. Chess.com will cover it, of course, and I'll try to, of course, analyze many games. So let's dive now into this game. Here in this particular game the tempo was 5 minutes on the clock plus 1 second increment per move, so it was a blitz game in which Alireza Firouzja started with move e4. Fabi's response was e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to b5, a6, Morphy Defense, and now after knight to f6 castling, b5, bishop to b3, and now bishop to c5. Pretty standard ideas. We have now c3. Fabi doesn't want to take here immediately because of this tactical threats on the d file. You take, then we simply put more pressure. You attack the knight, then we put pressure on the e file. Although white lost a pawn, the activity of white pieces is here too much to handle. I think for black the knight is a little bit misplaced. This bishop has a great activity, bishop undeveloped, so too many positional, as I said, problems here for black. After c3 d6, that's why here a4 by Alireza Firouzja. We have bishop to b7, and now Alireza breaks the center with the move d4, bishop to b6, rook to e1, finally connecting now to rook to the pawn. We have now knight to e7, knight from b to d2. Fabiano Caruana reroutes the knight on a better square, is of course searching maybe opportunities here around the square f4. Alireza plays bishop to c2, connects now the bishop to the pawn. We have castling, knight to f1, and now after move c5, Fabi pulls off in move 13 a theoretical novelty, a move that we haven't seen so far in chess history. This is nothing spectacular, I would say. The position is really equal. That's the beauty about the Ruy Lopez. Black can win many games, white can win many games, but also many games are ending with a draw. But let's see now who is the better player that can spice something up in a seemingly, as I said, drawish position now for both sides. Knight to g3 by Alireza, h6, h3. So the game is pretty symmetrical, we can say. Both players have great activities with the bishops. The knights are also waiting somehow to get into the game. Black is, of course, also a beautiful bishop pair. There is a certain tension in the center of the board, but without really clear weaknesses in the position for both sides. Rook to e8. Alireza simplifies the game in the center by trading off the pawns, and now also simplify the games by trading off the queens. But don't worry, although the queens are off the board, this will be still really beautiful. This will be still a sharp tactical game. After rook from e to d8, Alireza continues with bishop to e3, and he's cooking something here. He is doing at least some kind of a threat. The huge positional threat is, of course, now to play something like b4. The bishop on b6 is a little bit loose. It's not so well protected, so there are some tactical possibilities now for Alireza Firouzja. Rook from a to c8 by Fabi. Fabi notices the problems here around the square c5, but now after a takes b5, a takes b5, Alireza competes now on the d file and has again a great activity on the only open file. Rook takes d1, rook takes d1. Again, a pretty equal position, but now I would say Fabiano Caruana makes maybe his first tiny little inaccuracy. He doesn't react correctly. I would not say this is a huge mistake that Fabi is doing, but it's so hard to see now the best really idea here for black. What you should do in this particular position is to occupy now simply the other open file, the a file. And if this idea that we have talked about with b4 happens, you don't have to worry so much around the square c5. You have this idea. You play a counterattack, rook to a3, then after something like this you have even this resource, bishop takes c5, bishop to c5, and now you play rook takes c3, get your pawn back. In the next move you get also your piece back. So very, very hard to see, especially in a 5+1 game for sure. Bishop to a5 was played here by Fabi instead of rook to a8 that we have seen is a great choice for black. And now Alireza continues now with knight to f5, and he goes for the attack. Now he has occupied the other side of the board, which is again nothing spectacular. If you play the game correctly, probably you should have a good position, but now Fabi goes into a tactical sequence that actually favors white here. So here Fabi plays bishop to e4. Many of us would play this, but Alireza found here really beautiful tactical shot. Bishop takes e4, knight takes e4, and now knight to e5. This is the way to go, because Fabi's rook is a little bit misplaced. Now there's a possibility of knight to e7 fork, and the game is over here for black. So that's why for knight to e5, Fabi played rook to e8, Alireza took, and now here knight to d6. Alireza simplifies the game again, but again, I would say this position is much better here for white. Although the material is equal, there is now this problem of c5. White's rook is much more active. There is also the problem around the square g6. You have a double pawn structure, so from this point on, the game becomes a one-way ticket in white's favor. Here Fabi makes another mistake in the game, plays now the move g5. A better choice is to play something like b4, then after c takes b4, bishop to c5 you cannot play here. If you're asking yourself the question why white should not take here, because then after rook to e1, king to h2, the rook is lined up on the dark square, and you lose the exchange, and of course later on also the game. So here in this sequence, b4, c takes b4, bishop to b4, we can pick up this one, but I think in this position black could maybe hold a draw here, but Fabiano Caruana played now the bad g5. Of course, Alireza didn't play here bishop to c5. Alireza continued with the pressure against the bishop, attacked the bishop again, which is a good choice, and here Alireza has really a good endgame for sure. But Fabi is battling bishop to f4. Nothing is over here. Rook takes c5 by Alireza, bishop takes e3. We have now f takes e3, rook b4 here by Fabiano Caruana, which is a good move, at least not allowing here, if you for instance take immediately rook takes e3, then after rook to b5, white would have then two connected passers, and in a potential fully endgame stage without maybe these pawns on this side of the board, these pawns will march and there's nothing that can be done. Game over here for black. So that's why after f takes e3, the only move that's holding the position for black is b4, c takes b4, rook takes e3, rook to c3. Good move here by Alireza. Again, you cannot take because of the endgame. Only pawn endgame wins, of course, here for white. Rook to e5, and now Alireza Firouzja makes his first really mistake in the game. There is now a huge idea in this rook endgame, maybe just for fun, if you want to practice rook endgames. Pause the video and try to see now the best idea here for white. Very hard to see, and because of the mistake that Alireza made now, Fabi gets actually back into the game, can actually make a draw again, but maybe just for fun, as I said, try to see now the best continuation here for white. Okay, here's what Alireza did. Alireza played rook to b3, which seems like a logical idea. 95% of any players would play this move rook to b3 because you have supported your passer and this should be solid. But rook to b3 allows you to get the king closer. I just wanted to show you a couple more moves. You see the king is getting close enough to the action. Actually, if black plays maybe the perfect game, maybe black can hold this position. But let's go back. Instead of this move rook to b3, what you should do is play first of all the move king to f2. Now when black is marching with the king, you play now a tricky rook to f3. That's now the beauty. Force now the king to get again on a passive square. Now you play only rook to b3, and now if the rook comes on b5, it's a different story now, because here you have king to e3, king to f5, and now you see it's a whole different concept. Now in this other position, black's king was already there and could play now the move king to d6 and as I said, trying to hold at least the position. Now the king on f5 is simply too far away from the action, because with the move king to f2 we decoyed the king here, rook to f3, and even if you go, of course, here something like rook to e6, if you go towards the center, then rook to e3 is winning. We trade off the rooks, of course, then you're trying, of course, to get these pawns, which are this distant pass pawns, but in one particular moment then white is going for this pawns, and we'll have here probably passer, and it would be game over here for black. So that's why after rook to b3, Fabi plays rook to b5, king to f2, but as I said, Fabi gets the king close enough now to the action and is hoping for a draw. King to c4, rook to e5, rook to d3, king to c7, b3, rook to e2, and now g4 by Alireza. Pushing the pawn further, but now the rook is holding all of the pawns on the third rank. g6, rook to f3, and now rook to e4. Again, another mistake by Fabiano Caruana. Not a good choice to force your opponent here, king, to play king to b5. Actually, the king gets simply activated by your own move. The better choice here is to play h5. Then after something like rook to g3, now you hold the fifth rank, and that's now the good solution here for black. In no way there that white is going to take the pawn on h5. Actually, here in this position, black could have also a good game with this 2 versus 1 situation on the king side, so it's not working. And actually, after king to d4, something like rook to b5, believe me or not, white cannot win the game. I think black is holding the position because of the problems here on this side of the board. But after rook to f3, Fabi made this mistake. Alireza makes now a new mistake. He should have played simply king to b5, which is a better move, because you have the opportunity to play then king to a6 and then push the pawn further. But Alireza played king to c5. Again, Fabi is playing a bad move, rook to f4. Again, he should have gone into this line that we have seen previously, h5, then rook to g3. Again, you deliver check. You see, if Alireza's king would have been already here on b5, then you would have the opportunity to play a6. Now again you have to step back, and now again with the same pattern, covering the fifth rank, and this should be, I think, a thematic draw. But after rook to f4, now rook to e3, and suddenly Alireza Firouzja is completely winning here. After rook to e3, now Fabi plays h5, but it's a little bit too slow. Alireza pushes the pawn, allows here Fabiano Caruana to take h takes g4, but it's a great position for white, because we can now include the rook into the game. Even if you play something like king to b7 here, then again we deliver check. If you try to do something like this, b7, and then king to c6 is the motif that is winning the game here for white, because you don't have rook to c4 as a check possibility here for black. So after rook to e8, actually Fabiano Caruana played here king to d7, and here b7 by Alireza Firouzja, and in this particular position Fabiano Caruana resigns. So great game, great attack by Alireza, great tactics in the middle game stage, but we saw chess is really brutal. You can play your best game and miss maybe a tiny little opportunity in the end game, and suddenly it's a draw. So unfortunately for Fabi, he missed also some drawish ideas, but when I watch now all of the games played by them, I think it's a deserved win by Alireza Firouzja. And Alireza is maybe really slightly better than Fabi in this faster time formats. Fabi probably slightly better in this slower time formats. Fabi is basically unbeatable in the classical time format chess, and now we'll have the epic semifinals: Fabiano Caruana against Hikaru Nakamura, and the immortal Hans Ziemann against Magnus Carlsen. So, okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas of the Morphy Defense. If you want to see some other commented chess games here on my YouTube chess channel, check out our commented chess games playlist, and also our commented chess games played by computers, where I analyze some beautiful AI games. And if you like this content, hit the subscribe button. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.